privilege to speak before my seniors, Brahma sir, Goel sir, and my dear friend Somsekhar in front of me. It has been a really wonderful experience to speak before you. My only qualification to stand here is the 30 years which I spent in the mentorship of Dr. Kalam, and during his presidency, I traveled length and breadth of my country and come to know about the people whom we call public. The fourth generation, when we say, one is the technical side of it. We started with letters, then telex, then telephone calls, and then email started. And after that email, we started having video conferencing, and now we all carry smartphones with us, and from where we are able to communicate. And very soon, we are going to have cloud computing and more power to our smartphones, where we will be able to do whatever is possible to be done between two individuals. But the other side of fourth generation is, there are people who were born after independence and say 50s and 60s. They are all nationalists. They all carry forward a vision. They are very proud of this country. I will call them traditionalist, first generation traditionalist and nationalist. Then came the people who were born in 70s and 80s. That pride and all those kind of thing of independence was not delivering things. So they are all pragmatists. 70s and 80s born, they are all pragmatists. Then after, in 90s, we have another generation which are modernists. They see internet, all these things are working. And right now, my grandchildren and the other guys, they are globalists. They belong to the world. They live in the digital world. For them, identities like India, caste, all these things carry no meaning. So this is the fourth generation. Now the point is, how do we mix this fourth generation of technology to the fourth generation of human being? Now if you look at the demography of our country, thanks to the excellent efforts in the public health, the mortality rate of the children have come down. We are all living longer. And then what is happening is that we have the largest number of youth in any country on this earth. Now the issue is, how do we communicate with youth? So what is so special of communicating with youth? So we have to look into what is so special about this generation, which is pragmatic, which is technical savvy, and which is global in attitude. We used to be, my parents used to be loyal to the organization for which they worked. I used to be critical to the organization where I worked. I used to fight with my boss. I used to argue with my boss. My father never did that. As far as my sons are concerned, they are not into organization at all. They are network people. And they work across network. People working in different organizations, they are online. There is nothing like internal politics. There is nothing like standards in a particular department, in a particular company. There is a level field. What is happening in company A, what is happening in company B, what is happening in one state, what is happening in another state, what is happening in one district, in another district. Everything is interconnected. So we are for the first time standing in front of a universal standard. Now these children, the youth, earlier we used to respect authority. In my generation, we used to participate with authority. Now these children say, we are the authority. And they have their own convictions, they have their own value system, they question. So we have to be very clear that if you want to communicate with them, you have to see what is there in their psyche. And when we say the Public Relations Council of India, the Public Relations Council of India has to address to this youth, which is the largest body of humanity on earth. Now, there are two problems which I want to bring in front of you, and these problems are like two sides of a coin. They go together. The one problem is the problem of the cognitive surplus. There is so much information on anything. I am associated with Care Hospital. A patient comes to doctor not to find out what is the answer of his problem. He comes to doctor to teach him. I am having this problem. It could be because of this problem. What drug you are giving? Then he go back. Then he Google. Then he call again. The side effects are there. So he is more bothered about side effects. He is more bothered about what will going to happen if he takes this drug. So this surplus information, and most of this information may not be correct. Most of this information, there are issues. So now the point is that how do we handle with this cognitive surplus? We are bombarded with information, right from 24/7 news, whether there is news or there is no news, they have to create some news, 24/7 channel has to run. Then there have to be a debate, there has to be a panelist. Actually somebody made some 50 people are there living in Delhi who hop on from one studio to another studio as if there is no other expert available in the country. So now this is the situation. For everything we have been told, this is it, this is it, this is it. And the more you go through it, the younger mind, they realize that the more they see it, they realize it is not, it is not, it is not. Now, Public Relations Council of India have a duty. It is not even it is a duty, it is not even a choice to filter through this cognitive surplus and tell what is right and what is truth. This is one issue. The second issue is that because of this cognitive surplus, the other side of the coin is attention deficit. The youth is not having the patience to sit through, to listen to an hour of presentation. Because their attention deficit, the attention span is whatever, even when I talk to my son, he says, Dad, 2 minutes, whatever you want to tell me, you tell me. Don't drag issues. In 2 minutes, they want all the things. And even the younger children, if you ask them, what are you doing? Reading. This kind of answer they give. Where have you gone? Outside. Syllabus, they don't even speak sentence. They speak words. How are you? Happy?